What up, homies? Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's move this here. There you go. Happy New Year from the UK. Yeah, I forgot you guys are in the fucking future. Wiggle some cables. There you go. Well, Happy New Year, Blue Eagle Gamer. How is your New Year going? Since you're already there. What up?
Hello there.
Glad to see test is working. W test camera.
I forgot I left this up for so long.
What do you mean? Oh, the
Like several, because all I was doing is trying to check and see if the camera preview worked, and I was doing that a few hours ago, and I realized, oh yeah, I just left that up.
KG. It's been a while.
Hey, KG, great to see you. Let's see, we got the VGC.
We got the Blue Eagle Gamer. We got Jazzy.
Almost finished the UCS Razor Crest. Nice. Now reading the Battle of Jakku, Republic Under Siege. I need to finish that. I started it and it was amazing. Like, it was just surprisingly good, and the way they knew. I mean, obviously it's Lucasfilm. They're writing this stuff, so they know where everyone is at, like, any given point in time. But yeah, it's just great to see.
There's so much that I have to catch up to. Jakku, Republic Under Siege. What was it all? There was also Rise of the Resistance. Was that a ride? It's like I can't even remember what I have to catch up to anymore. I'm sorry.
You should be. You will be.
What webcam y'all using? You say y'all as if we have the same one. But you go first.
Me, this is a Canon EOS M50 Mark II, which is a relatively cheap camera, but you can stream from it. It does everything you need to, and especially for streaming. The problem is it doesn't. It's not compatible with a lot of the Canon lenses that you would use if you were a photographer, but I don't need those, so I'm all right.
Yeah, I use a Canon EOS M200, and I think
he uses an actual camera.
I forget what. Well, it's just an EFM lens. It's a 22 millimeter, and then there's a Tiffin soft effects filter on it. Just because I gotta add on top of the Asian skin.
Yeah, I, I don't know what ended up happening, but apparently, um, my whatever those construction workers did, so I had some construction workers work on my room. I have a window like right there. They replaced the window, and they ended up throwing this big old sheet of plastic over my whole desk, and messed up a bunch of stuff. Um, and ever since they did, all of a sudden this camera is no longer able to output video via HDMI. It just doesn't send out an HDMI signal.
Are you
And I
using the
haven't
Canon
been able to figure
webcam
that out.
utility?
I am now, yeah.
Dang.
That was the only option. I ran through everything, and I thought it was going crazy because I tried using my PS5 through, because I have like several different, cam links or cards or whatever, and none of them would receive any signal at all. And I was like, okay, well, plug my PlayStation and see, and there was still no signal. I was like, what the hell? I couldn't figure out the source until I was like, you know what? Let's get the PlayStation working. And I realized it was a specific PlayStation setting that prevented it. So when I saw that was working, I was able to isolate to the camera. It was a whole thing.
Well, shucks. Was it HDCP?
Yeah. What's up, Craig? In anticipation of you showing up, didn't wear a hat. I specifically did not wear a hat for you.
Shout out to Charles Olson. G'day, g'day. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, Jazzy. I'm assuming everyone that's saying Happy New Year already is somewhere in the future.
Yeah. And to put it in perspective, Craig, I sat down wearing this hat and was like, oh no, I got to take that off because I want to make sure I start the stream without wearing it, just for Craig.
Craig says, I had a feeling it was getting old after your reaction the last time. Stuff doesn't get old on this one. We run gags until it's bone dry. No.
You can't grow up watching Family Guy and
Ushu, you hungry? 1 p.m. on January 1st. What time is it for you lads? It is 5:43 p.m. December 31st. So there is quite a lot of time left in 2024 for us.
we got 25% more day. 25% of the day left to go through.
Yeah, and about 5% of it, Skeleton Crew. And that's not a bad way to spend 5% of the rest of the day.
How are y'all feeling about Skeleton Crew so far? Let us know in the chat. How you liking it? Where are you ranking it in your Star Wars TV show ranking? Is it what we needed?
Also, I posted a video today of like, where have I been? I don't know, ask TikTok. But I got a couple of comments that were like, yeah, you haven't been on my For You page for years. And I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Tis excelente. Is it just me, or does Choco seem to have a Lando Calrissian from the Solo movie haircut? I mean, it's a little grown in the Solo movie, but I think Choco has more.
I mean, this is literally just how it grows out of my head. This ain't so much a haircut, but I think it looks good. But yeah, no, I think that the show, I agree, is tis excelente. I will say, I feel like for the immediate future, Star Wars needs to focus on stories that require less media skills to comprehend.
Jeez.
You know,
Would that
not
be,
as an
like Coruscant
not as
Street?
not as an insult, but like I can't tell you how many people I spoke to when the Acolyte came out, and they were like, "Well, I predicted it was the sister," and you're like, "That's literally the first thing it shows you." I can't. You're not breaking. Like, all right,
They showed
Sherlock.
it in that trailer.
And so they don't have the same haircut. You can tell them apart. I feel like understanding that, you know, that show is about perspectives and just other things. Like, this is simpler, and it's kind of just like
Yeah, the mystery. There was
You
still a
know?
mystery, but the mystery was what actually happened on Brendok.
yeah.
Right?
But you have,
and like
that requires something to understand that this thing here isn't the mystery, and so you didn't, like, you know, that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, and like when a trailer shows you something and reveals something, what's the chance that they mistakenly revealed and spoiled the whole mystery, or they were like, that's not what the mystery is?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, but I'm loving people enjoying it. Like, tons of my friends love it. Bro, just watch it. It didn't interest me, but I'm telling you, just watch it. Like, yes, I enjoy it as a Star Wars fan, but there's so much about like the lore and so much about the how it adds to the grand scope of the galaxy that, like, it has done so much more for me as a fan than I thought it would be.
Yeah. It's definitely contributing to the great work. They I mean, just in this most recent episode, you know, I love these things that make us think, make us speculate. You know what I mean? We're here in this treasure room, and we're spotting things where you're like, okay, this might be related to the Nile, this could be related to this, you know, and I don't know, it's fun to be back here. I like this place.
But it's also like it has given us something new about the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like we don't officially have or canonically have anything about a canon version of that time period that we're, you know, that is being I suppose focused on right now. But and I thought it was just going to be like a, you know, fun little family show with an adventure, but like giving us so much and introducing us to this another really, really important part of the galaxy that surprisingly is not what is it, consequential to the overall narrative of like the Skywalker saga, or, you know, like Ahsoka or anything. Might be, I don't know, but just having something new but consequential for this show, but not really implicative of any other story. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that this thing exists because, you know, as we know, in the saga, the Empire failed, and like the First Order failed, and all of that happened regardless of what was happening here. But what was happening here is still very consequential. And this is what we were talking about, right? About stories that are... This is a big galaxy. And we need stories that are consequential because it is part of this large galaxy. But it doesn't need to be like, oh, so this explains like Anakin. Like, no, like... These are stories that are hyper isolated from the Skywalker saga, but it's still very important.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the answer we're gonna get from this show in terms of what the GW is and like everything, it's gonna be massive.
Also, it hints at other things that could be out there. Like, now that we know there's these hidden projects, you know, who orchestrated it and why and what was their purpose, and are these the only ones? You know, in the expanded universe, we had an entire Sith planet. You know, we had places and installations that were hidden out in the Maw for certain purposes. You know, we have in Canada, we have Exegol, which is a planet that is hidden with people on it. Is this a thing that's more common than we thought it was, and what could that mean? You know,
also, how easy it is it to hide planets?
I assume like you gotta start out that way. Like, you can't have a planet and then hide it. You gotta. Right. You can't you know,
in the context
put it back
of, like,
in Pandora's box, but
yeah, in the context of prospecting, like, you find yourself in an uncharted like hyperspace lane, you're like, I'm not gonna tell anyone about this planet.
Yeah.
It's like finding Coruscant and then like moving everyone to Coruscant. It's like, all right, guys, don't tell anybody else. This is our small secret. The planet in Jedi Survivor 2. Yeah, that's right. I even forgot that they had kind of laid the foundation for hidden things as well.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that we're trying to figure out now, because Tanalorr is behind this kind of nebula. And so is Exegol. What's causing the jewels of the Old Republic to be hidden from everything else? Is it man-made? Is it a natural barrier like that of Tanalorr, or what's going on?
What are the swirls, bro?
Not to mention that the Acolyte gave Element a Star Wars character he can cosplay as from somewhere other than Rogue One movie. I mean, I also love that I can theoretically not do anything with myself and cosplay the character. Because he's got the same length hair. I just gotta wet it and kind of like just shag my hair. Is that the word? When dogs twist and dry themselves? I forget what now. I just gotta twist my head with wet hair. That's it. Trim my facial hair.
He's gotta whip his head back and forth.
Yeah. Now watch me whip. 8 minutes from episode 6. What is everyone's predictions for this episode? So from last we saw, the kids had to purposefully fall into a trap to escape the conniving Jadnana Silvo, whatever his name is. That's another mystery. What is his name? And is it on the wall in the path?
Yeah, what's with his Jedi quotes, you know? Didn't the Star Destroyer from Rebels that went into hyperspace with Ezra and Thrawn aboard go to the unknown regions? It went beyond there.
It went to wild space. I mean, that's why...
Beyond wild space, too.
I mean, that's why, like, in Ahsoka, they found Peridia in another galaxy. Like, they needed a whole bunch of hyperdrive engines. I'm trying to think... Man, never mind. I'm not going to say it. I was going to say something about Purgles that was going to be a little bit...
They had a whale of a time. Yeah.
KB Senate episode? Hey, Bryn, I keep on saying to myself and to Choco, to an exhausted Choco, that KB's got something going. There's a lot of shots of her that seem to, at least for me, hint at something more than just like a technologically, gifted person. I think if I were to if I were to put my guess in the Goblet of Fire, I would say KB is akin to Ram Jamaram. And that her ability manifests within the I guess the talents of someone that is mechanically and technologically adept. No, but I was gonna say something about them repurposing a Purgle into a ship.
Oh,
It was
gotcha.
pretty dark. I would love a KB centered episode though.
So would I. They are really. I mean, they've shaped up to become my favorite of the crew.
And well, you know, if you know us, that's no surprise. Though Neil always sneaks up on you.
Neil
who your
is
favorite
just my child. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Explain that one, Choco.
Neil is. I would love him like my own. I mean, I already do. You can't. Neil is precious cargo. Okay, so he's not my favorite, but he's baby. You know.
Yo, Happy New Year from Australian. Oh, I thought I read that as Australian. My bad.
No, read that as an Australian.
Happy New Year from Australia. And then Legit Simon. Oh, I forget.
Hey, Legit Simon, how you doing, buddy?
Happy New Year. All the best to both of you. If Neil is Choco's child, then let's tell Choco's child to kneel before Zod. Neil!
Hey, with Thalia Besk. I've seen your lives, and I keep meaning to hang out, but life finds a way to get in the way.
That's
I do have a question for you. One of the things that we did get to see in the throne room, not throne room, but treasure room, is we got the pirates like signature thing.
Oh yeah, Jack Rennett's symbol.
Yeah.
I feel like there's someone on the someone that works in Lucasfilm named Kat Donner. Because they like to reverse names for Star Wars names.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not that, but Donner. I mean, my very first thing goes back to that being like a reference to Richard Donner, but
or Laura Schuler Donner of X-Men fame. The X-Men movies, I mean. Happy New Year from LaMelo Ball. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and Richard Donner was her husband.
I guess I guess it's the New Year for a lot of people. East Coast, English Coast, the Golden Coast.
Yeah, so more likely a nod to Richard Donner as the director of the Goonies.
Ah.
But Laura Schuler Donner is his wife, right? And they famously worked on like the Superman movies, and that's, I mean, both Marvel and DC all sprung out of the cast of the Donner Superman thing to a crazy degree.
Princess
Like
from New
Kevin
Zealand.
Feige was like a PA on that set. Like it's
Yeah, it really has just followed kind of like a through line from a lot of people.
But the thing I was actually going to say is that his little symbol also something that leads me to go back to the Nile, because it almost, you know, looks like the lightning bolts from the Nile, but just kind of stylized.
There could be a connection there. You know, there's
'Cause-
not much of a gap between pirates and marauders.
Well, and when you think about it, where the Nile logo came from was, you know, Path of the Open Hand. So like symbols kind of evolve, and someone, you could see him either being like a former Nile or inspired by the Nile and be like, all right, but my signature's got this little thingy here, you know.
Yeah. I still want to see a connection to the Niles bearer out with the Cloud Riders.
Oh yeah. There's gotta be. There ain't no way. Obviously the Cloud Riders came first, but sorry, I'm having need to restart my headset. That was weird. But if anything, though, I truly believe that they were probably just a shared influence. Like, they looked at an old drawing from somewhere and both got their ideas based off that same drawing.
Yeah, for sure. Like the legacy of the Nile touched the hearts of many. Well, speaking of the lightsaber that we got from episode 5, episode 6 is up. So if you guys want to watch along, make sure that you guys are ready to follow along with our episode timer, which will start as soon as we press play. I'm going to click into the episode and let this Disney sizzle play. All right, now we are fully in the episode. And as soon as we press play, I will start the episode timer. Did you hear that, Choco? Everything good on your stream?
Yes, I sure did.
All right. So we're going to press play. We're not going to skip anything, right? We're just going to follow. We're just going to let the episode run through because that's how timers work. In 3, 2, 1. Still, I gotta stop the music.
A little distracting, you know.
Dash Zentum. Did it turn on? Did it?
I mean, did we not hear it?
I mean, that might have been just like a post-editing sound because I didn't see it turn on.
That could have been John's sound effect. He was just like,
Sometimes you do that, you know? Like when they're filming a movie and then they have like props and the actor's like, boom, boom. Like, can you stop that? How's it going, Jason?
In fact, Obi-Wan struggled with that himself in the films. And I still laugh whenever I watch Last Jedi, because Laura Dern pulls out her gun and goes, pew. And you see her mouth say pew.
She's fine. She has the Force.
Her circuits are damaged.
She's not a droid.
I mean, mine was a simplification, but it sounds like it was correct.
Looks like it's gonna be a KB episode, guys.
I can't wait for her to lift up her visor and shoot lasers out.
Or lift it up and go, I am a Jedi. See? He fine. Aww. They was ready for me.
Smash.
They're seeing so much for the first time. Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Droid crabs. Bentley.
True.
Jeez.
That one's got
Mm-hmm.
a protocol droid foot for a shell.
That's where your mind went for. Just follow them. Interesting. What happened to KB?
She got tired of crazy, overbearing. You know.
You just gotta space him? That's not very entertaining.
Hey, what's up, Jason? AKA Liba Kenobi.
Interesting. I need one now. I need a jelly hourglass. What? Plasma hourglass. Gotcha. That's his pitch.
That was not what the sound
Yeah.
I thought was going to come out of him.
Oh, we got a One Piece jingle?
Sunday.
This looks like Bracken. Just kind of off of first first view, I guess. Are they gonna release a whole bundle of trash crabs?
Hope so.
She doesn't need it. Interesting. I didn't know that. I mean, it's valid. So she had an accident. Requires Oggs to move.
She would leave her behind.
Little with more urgency, Wim.
Dang. That's cool.
What did you do, Wim?
Aw, that just warmed my heart.
Yeah. And then Wim was like, I am a Jedi.
Rusty, happy almost New Year's to you as well.
So KB did something for Wim. Wim did something for KB. Fern does something for Neil. Interesting. So it seems like the link that's on her head is basically acts as like a facsimile like nervous system so that she can move. Unfortunately, VGC, those aren't pronouns. Those are honorifics. I don't think that crab's bad.
You think the crab's gonna catch the ship?
Whoa, is that like old-fashioned stop motion? Oh,
I like because the crab is probably still CG, but they animate it. They animated it on
classically.
twos. either on 2s or even more than that. For not telling you.
Yay, everyone's back together again. Nemo's like, W best friends. It's the incinerator!
I mean, isn't KB the only person who can?
It's still a KB episode. She needs a co-pilot. Dang, that thing
Go!
is... It's like
This is like Toy Story 3.
no, you know what the thing at Galaxy's Edge, the Millennium Falcon ride.
Yeah.
Oh, that gun's not going to be useful. Yeah, no. Shoot the joints. Dang, that thing. Things like, no, you're mine.
Touch it.
Well, if any time was to touch it, it would be now.
You're gonna have a bad day.
Oh, they're going to reveal an awesome ship. That's fucking dope.
Yeah. Damn. Listen, does the Lego version do that?
Exactly.
Does the Lego version do that? Because that's dope.
Yo, the Onyx Cinder just molted.
It had the Normandy inside.
Damn, that was... Oh my gosh, Bryce Dallas Howard, you are amazing. Oh my gosh. Always with the character episodes, I swear.
That was fantastic. Okay, so the next thing that has to happen, obviously, is they're going to make it to Ad-Atten, but they're going to have to convince the parents to let them in. Do you think the pirates are going to catch up with them mid-flight?
I think that they're going to catch up with the pirates. They're going to show up in the new... What is that? I guess the Silver Cinder? Like they're gonna be.
I don't know, but it was sleek and gorgeous. I loved it.
They're gonna descend onto the planet, the pirates. They're like, give us your mint, and then like the new Cinder comes in, and then like saves the day. And I'm kind of hyped because Bryce Dallas Howard always does incredible episodes.
Doesn't miss.
How's it going, Suru? Akani Oye. Great episode, the best so far. I mean, again, week to week, it has been giving us the best episode so far.
It's doing, as much as I love shows that are like anthology type things, this one is continually building upon itself. And so, I don't know, I love that. I love that momentum. And, you just don't get that with, anthology or arc-driven shows,
Yeah. Am I disappointed they didn't reveal KB to be Force sensitive? Yes, but again, that's kind of like headcanons and like something I would love for them to do. But I still loved this episode. We found out that there was some accident that made KB reliant on Augs, as they call it, to move her body.
And you know what? I love it. I think it's awesome because hear me out. From the beginning, I was like, I feel like it's kind of messed up if you just started putting augments on your kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just for fun or for like efficiency's sake. But no, if let's say Fern had an accident and it damaged it gave them spinal cord damage and doesn't have full control or maybe any control of any of her limbs, and then they were able to augment that with technology. As long as it's kept up, they can function normally, but also gain some cool stuff from the implants themselves. I think that's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, from what we know of paralysis, right? You kind of sever the link between your spinal cord, which is essentially the I guess the mainframe of your nervous system. And when that is severed, you can't control any motor functions, like, because it's not connected to everything. So that's kind of cool in like a Star Wars sense, where they replace your spinal cord with some kind of augment that artificially connects to your nervous system, because she doesn't look like she has like droid parts. Like she just said her Augs, right? And so it's like the part of this head unit that she has, but it looks like the rest of her body is just kind of her normal body. So that's why when it was corroding, she started to shut down. Like she started losing control of her functions, and just replacing that one fuse was like, oh, I can move again. Hey, how's it going, everybody? So that's kind of cool. Akani Oye says, love to know what the accident was, which is another thing.
Yeah, but it also kind of like takes you back to earlier when someone's challenging Fern to a race, and she's like, no, we're gonna get him, all this stuff, and then maybe they're just like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be, I've been in an accident before, I don't want to do it again, but I'm afraid if I say no, I'll lose my only friend. Type of situation. And it also goes back to, certain scenes. Everyone reacted when the statue got shot at. Maybe she couldn't react as quickly as the others, or maybe I don't know. It just brings up a lot of interesting possibilities.
For sure. I mean, that's something that we can go back to the first and second episode to kind of like ruminate on. Is like this whole notion that they are like rebels and then like driving dangerously on the road. And then I'm like, with this episode, I'm like, God damn, Fern, why'd you do that? It's like being in like an accident and then like your friend is paralyzed and like they're traumatized. And then you're like, hey man, I just got a new Lambo. Let's go let's go 120 on a 35. And you're like, are you kidding me? Like,
hey man,
stop it.
I hit a wall doing a $120.
Jeez. I don't think we have any.
I haven't raced ever since. I've just been riding and collecting, organizing and collecting. That was the line.
I don't think we have a species for that crab. Although I do know that they're going to release. I know it for sure. They're going to release trash crabs. And it's gonna in the toy store. There's gonna be a button on it that says "Try me," and then you press it, and they go follow, 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 follow. What are we calling this?
Sorry, Gene. I didn't see your comments about my dog. That my dog is a schnoodle, a miniature schnauzer and poodle mix, and
Schnoozle.
Her ears and tail are not naturally pink and purple, so just be aware.
That was great. So what are we calling this new ship? Because at the very tail end of them taking off, Wim was like, claims he's on the new ship. So if it's a new ship, it's not the Onyx Cinder anymore.
No, I think it's the other way around. This was always the Onyx Cinder.
Really?
The inner ship was the Onyx Cinder, and they sheath it in other things to change its profile to disguise it.
Like a Nile?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's why the ship could always look like it's falling apart, but it's still got the juice, you know?
Yeah. I loved that sequence. That sequence was badass. Like, were you expecting something else when everything started to explode? I thought that the whole demolition sequence would have like split it in half and like, and then like they could fly off, and that was just like, I don't know, like an outer fake hull, basically.
I didn't know what I would. I mean, my thought process went to like having something that, basically, incinerates the hull. So if someone is like trying to catch onto the side, or if someone put like tracking devices on the outside, like it'll just nuke everything around it, hoping that would affect. But I was like, but that big thing is fire inside, so that probably won't work. I didn't know quite what to expect. This does remind me a bit of something that they did, I want to say twice in the expanded universe, where like you would have a ship within a ship, or you would have something that can detonate in order to release debris, and that would allow you to escape from a tractor beam.
Ooh.
So,
because like, what is the tractor beam holding on to?
Yeah, so the tractor beam will be holding on to the ship. It calculates and tries to grab it, and so and this again, it happens twice in the Thrawn trilogy. One of them is kind of an accident, and the other one's on purpose. Where by doing a detonation, the tractor beam is trying to grab onto all of this debris, and it no longer knows what to grab onto, so they're able to slip out. And then another time, there was another ship, and Luke's X-wing was inside of it. And the ship, got tractor beamed, and he hopped into the X-wing and like blew out the doors.
Did the big bosses know that the best
Then he got
director
trapped in space.
for this episode was Bryce? I mean, they just know that she's a good character director. It's kind of like the same thing with Claudia Gray. She's a great character writer. And that's kind of why I was like Claudia Gray and Bryce Dallas Howard. It's like put them together, and there's just a clinic on character-driven story movie.
I mean, give Bryce her own show at this point, please.
I would, yes, definitely,
please.
And they wouldn't. I mean, they would try to find something to complain about, but from what we've known of Bryce Dallas Howard, she's directed the best Mandalorian episodes. So they're gonna.
I really think that this is kind of the way that they should be doing it: is use the Mandalorian or an adjacent show, use these as incubators for their talent, and then once someone like hits a certain level on directing those episodes, let them run their own show. Where now they have people, right? Because when you're creating a show like this, there's a whole bunch of episodes. You can't have the same person direct every episode, because of the timetable it takes, right? You have one person on this one so that you're all working in tandem. But you use that for incubators for who are going to run your future shows, and then if you run the show successfully, that's how you get a movie, And that's kind of how Star Wars has done their books, right? From a certain point of view, was able to get a lot of talented people in there to write a short story. And then they use that as an incubating tank to bring people on to write full books, I don't know.
Makes sense.
Keep it going.
How many episodes is Skeleton Crew slated for?
1,000.
Oh.
Now, I know I said I only want one season of this show, but after seeing the kids work together like a crew in this episode, I want to see them go around the galaxy together.
I still maintain that, like, they would solve this thing, or not solve, but resolve this narrative around AT-AT being this legendary pirate treasure. But subsequent seasons would just be like a Young Jedi Adventures type of thing, where these are like their adventures. It doesn't need to tie into the larger narrative. It doesn't really need to raise the stakes at all.
Well, I mean, picture this, right? Because they shot this like 2-3 years ago, right? So what you have is they go back home to AT-AT. Things on AT-AT are going to blow up, right? They are going to blow up. The pirates are going to follow them to the planet. They're going to have to fight them off. Neil's going to remember the big gun on the school and is going to shoot them down, and that's going to be their saving grace. But this paradise has now been ruined, right? This secret planet is no longer a secret, and you can't put the toothpaste back in the in the thing once it comes out, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can't put it back in the tube. You just can't, and so they're gonna have to do something. Well, what we can do is now cut 5 years out, or at later, maybe in the future we get another show. Or their families are aboard the ship, in order to escape. But we get some type of space adventures that are kind of like people coming out of a bunker who don't know anything about the galaxy.
Oh yeah, it's like we've been saying this entire season is the vaults.
Yeah.
So it's just a bunch of people exiting the vaults, and what I love about that, what I would love to see about that,
you would love to see that,
is the parents on the ship with the kids, but the kids being the experts.
Yeah.
And the parents are like, you can't do that. Wim's like, take a seat, Dad. Like,
Watch me, homie.
yeah. I think that would be a really cool dynamic to see, that the parents, the grown-ups, are the ones that are kind of like the fish out of the water, and the kids, even though they're still kids and young and it's dangerous for them, they can handle themselves. They have more experience than the parents, and that's just an interesting dynamic to think about, for sure. Like, would Wendell and the other parents like try to usurp control, you know? But then like they encounter pirates, and like they learn firsthand that they're not able to act like adults around pirates. And the kids have a reputation.
I mean, the parents will get on the ship, but Fern will still be the captain, you know? That's how it's going to be. I guess it's, the annoying Fern is growing on me. The kids are getting better, or we are getting used to their collective talents. I mean, it's both. It's both, right? You know, they are getting used to their collective talents and starting to lean into who they are as individuals, you know? And I think that's the growing up part that, you know, should be awesome.
So we got an episode on Neil with Hana and General Strix overcoming his inadequacies, or inadequate kind of like mentality. We got with KB learning about her accident, and her kind of like dynamic with Fern.
Mm-hmm.
Have we gotten the Wim episode yet? Have we gotten
No.
the Fern episode yet?
Nope. But if I'm writing the show, Fern's getting the next one. Yeah, we're gonna get Fern now being nervous as a leader, but they're back on the ship, and they will need someone to stand back up to be the captain. And they're all going to vote that, you know, although Wim wanted it, although Neil felt nervous about piloting, that her personality makes her good at leading, you know, as long as she can listen to others and stuff like that. So yeah, I think next one we're going to get a Fern centric. Also, the Stowe story has established her as being incredibly like intelligent and capable. Her problem is she just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so now there'll be like an impetus. There'll be a need. And the last person to get their episode is going to be Wim. And that's because Wim was the person who started it.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, that's because Wim's a Jedi.
No,
Force sensitive.
Wim's impetuous nature was the catalyst that started this whole thing. And the whole story has been predicated on Wim not wanting to grow up. And making these childish, you know, decisions and actions, and those get them in more and more trouble. And he's going to grow up a little bit, but we're going to end up seeing that his childish actions are actually what saved them in the long run.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We got in the episode with Kim in the observatory that Fern was, you know, just like in this episode, displaying a little bit of impatience there. Like, she didn't want to find out, or she didn't want to stick
I loved
around.
that call out. Just because you can't think of another way doesn't mean that there's not another way, you know?
Yeah. Like, it's like, this is ridiculous, we're not going to find it. And then KB in that episode was like, what, we've narrowed it down to 10,000 planets. So
that's why I like KB, because that's literally how my brain thinks. is my yeah, I'm
we're not getting anywhere. We've eliminated like 20,000 planets. Come on.
Literally, you know, I'll get in trouble because I'll hesitate when I speak or something like that. But it's because literally I'm thinking of every possible thing, and then okay, what's best case, worst case, easiest, most likely, and then like narrowing it down, and that's just how my brain works. And I felt seen.
Nice. Lovell says, I feel like Wim is getting sidelined. That's, I mean, I can see how you see that, but I think Wim is just like Choco said, his episode is coming for sure. There's right now we've gotten to the point where we can clearly see who's who on this skeleton crew, right? Neil has gotten over most of his cowardly kind of like Chucky of the Rugrats nature.
That was Chucky Chan.
Yeah, and then in this episode he was like, "Stop fighting! We need to work together." Right? And he was a little bit scared of climbing, but then like, Fern found the solution to that. But it's clear that right now Neil is the pilot. KB is the mechanic. She's like out with the engine doing all of that stuff. Wim for now is a gunner because his episode hasn't come yet, and Fern is the clear captain that is trying to learn how to listen to others, and to more importantly wait for others. So Wim for sure is definitely going to find his place when his episode comes, but for sure we have what looks to be the early makings of a crew in their respective roles. Yes, we see that Neil is the best. I got you, Blue Eagle.
Chucky Chan, you shouldn't disrespect Chucky Chan's character like that. No, Chucky Chan, watch the Rugrats movie. All right, he becomes Chucky Chan and he starts whooping people's ass. It's crazy. But yeah, I'd say honestly, I'd say Neil being sidelined is a good thing because I think if he kept behaving like he was at the beginning and kept that at the forefront, I think him as a character would get very annoying very quickly.
And honestly, there was a large portion of Wim in this episode too. He fixed KB, and KB was like, "I just figured you'd have more fun saving someone's life. Thank you, Jedi." And Wim kind of like had this air about him that returned, right? Because he was, from the start, he was losing a lot of the luster of adventure because he was seeing what the real world was like, and it's not a game, right? They said it in this episode. This isn't a game. It's like, I know it's not a game. So he's coming to terms. I've been saying this a lot lately. He's had a come to Jesus moment where his adventures and his stories are largely just stories, but in this episode he was able to save KB's life, and that was a small step for him.
I mean, not just a small step. That's literally what he said in school he wanted to do. Was he wanted to help people. He wanted to save people. And so, Wim is being that guy. He's getting there. And so, yeah, I don't think of him as being sidelined, but he has, his rough edges are starting to be sanded off. So I guess that probably makes him less noticeable, but he'll get his episode. I believe it.
And maybe he might end up being the gunner. I mean, like, he might end up being the protector of the crew, to be honest. Like, maybe the medic, maybe the someone who, protects the other crew, right? Because we have the pilot, like Wash, and mechanic, like Kaylee.
Yeah.
Those are deep cuts, if you guys know.
Can you guys imagine the writer's room for this episode and the series pitch to Kathleen Kennedy? I mean, I will bet you any amount of money the series pitch to Kathleen took 5 minutes. John Watts was like, we do Goonies, but with Star Wars. And then Kathleen Kennedy, as the executive producer of Goonies, would be like, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
And I know I mentioned it before, last week, but I mean, just the fact that this has been cooking since No Way Home leads to me to believe that there's so much, makes me very hopeful for a lot of things for Star Wars. Because there've been several things where they're like, well, these people are contractually obligated to do these other projects first. So that's why we haven't worked on this. And you're like, oh yeah, we know what that means. That means it's never coming, right? That means creative differences. And no, John Watts had to make 2 other films before this could even get started. I think that's
it was in it was in development even before the investors meeting, and they didn't announce it at the investors meeting.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there to kind of look at and be like, what else are they working on that it's just a matter of time before they announce it. Right?
And this is the way to do it. I think this is the way to do it.
And honestly, I maintain that the storytelling in this series, regardless if it's 1 season or 2 or just this story with a conclusion, they've done so much to open up the path for Old Republic. Because you can't tell so much of a story and see and show so much of a timeline. Granted, it's stuck in time and it's not the actual time, without showing it. Because, we got a glimpse. Ad-Atten is seemingly a glimpse of what the Old Republic looked like. Outside of, the Jedi-Sith Wars and the Mandalorian Wars, but the Old Republic is seemingly like 5,000 years of stuff. So you could choose any number of points in time to tell an Old Republic story, and cast Satele Shan.
Yeah. I mean, we could always use more Satele for sure.
All right, guys. That'll do it for this watch party. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out, enjoyed the episode as much as we did. I hope you guys are also looking forward to, if not already, a happy New Year. But that's it for us.
Yeah.
We have about 7 hours left, I think. No, 5 hours left into the day until our New Year. But we hope you guys are happy, having an awesome night, spending time with friends and family. What up, Malik? I am going to go to a party, bring my karaoke, or my laptop, really. And then we're going to sing some songs.
Nice.
Future hasn't changed much. Already 2025 here. Happy New Year's. Well, with that said, Happy New Year.
Yeah. My New Year's plans have somewhat changed. My wife got sick and got me sick as well.
Sorry to hear that.
So I'm a little sick right now. So we had that, and we were gonna hang out with my family tomorrow, all day. But that is looking like it probably won't be a good idea because,
we like sharing sicknesses. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, my mom would die.
Looking at the Valkorian as the supervisor. Looking at the bright side of things, the silver lining, you'll probably, get off of here and watch some more Solo Leveling or do some other stuff.
Oh, I watched Pantheon finally, and holy crap, that was a great story.
I have to finish it.
I think I went through it in 2 sittings.
God dang.
I ended up just hooked.
I feel like this either happens a lot or not enough. Where I'm like, this is a cool show, we should watch it. And then you finish it and I'm still watching it. It's like, oh, this is a cool book. And then you read it and then I'm still reading it.
Well, it was Amber that turned me on to it, but yeah, I got to reach out to Amber and let
Oh
her
no,
know,
Amber
'cause-
turned us both onto it. She came into the stream, said, I want to talk to somebody about Pantheon, so.
Yeah, I mean, before she commented on it on one of my videos beforehand, but yeah, that was really enjoyable. And if you like um techno cyberpunky uh just stuff that's not, I don't even know how to explain it or sell it to people. But if you like sci-fi technology based sci-fi that takes place in the present, a lot of it in Sacramento. Like they're like returning down Arden, and I was like, oh, so they're actually in Sacramento. They went to Sacramento Raceway. Whoever wrote this actually lived in Sacramento. That was really cool.
All right, looks like I'm gonna finish that tonight if I have the time. I think I have like 2 more episodes, but it's been pretty great. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. But don't forget, on this Friday, we're going to have our spicy noodle challenge for our 200th episode. So tune in on that one. We may or may not taste British snacks. I kind of want to save that for the person that requested it. So we'll have a spicy noodle challenge, and we'll have Real Fans Would Know statements crafted by Marianne. So we'll be able to play while we're enduring spicy noodles. So that'll be fun.
Now, I will just to throw this out there. Maybe we wait on trying British foods, but like it doesn't mean we can't also in the future take tour around other places around the world.
Sure.
So I mean, if you want to hook me up with some Filipino treats, I know my wife is always trying to get me to eat Mexican stuff.
Ooh, you want to do like a mukbang episode?
We could and we have followers from all over the place.
So what I was actually thinking this because we do have the ability to do this with this. So we actually do a stream from a restaurant. Like, let's decide on like if you want to do a Filipino episode. We go to a Filipino restaurant, and then it's all about you tasting some Filipino dishes for the first time. We live stream that, or just record a video and do that. And then you'll find something that I need to taste for the first time, and then we'll record out of that one. But I always default to doing that in person because like there's a lot of logistics and being like, okay, you need to order this, or this. Just got to make sure that you have the correct stuff.
Make sure it's the right place, and they've done it right. There's nothing that makes me angrier than like, I'll see one of them was like British people making fun of Americans because they're like, we're gonna eat this American dish that you can find in all 50 states. Oh, it's awful. And I'm like, I've never even heard of this weird goop that you're eating. Like, that's not a thing. You read it on a forum from someone who thinks that happens in America, So yeah, I would like some person cultured.
Just like a couple of years ago, I was like, you should try some Filipino food, namely lumpia, right? And he's like, so I went to like my local Filipino like eatery, and they didn't have any lumpia, so I just got some egg rolls. I'm like, that's not it. just leave that off the menu if you couldn't find lumpia. Jesus Christ.
You can't do that. That's like being like, I couldn't find any tacos, so I got €1. It's about the same, right? And you're like, no, it's not the same.
Yeah,
That's in the future. Happy New Year, Happy New Year's, guys. Master James Kenobi says, eat some Vegemite. That'll be something that we both will do in person as well. We'll find some sort of Australian joint to to visit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of. We'll take like a worldly food crawl and do a bunch of vlog videos on it and give you guys our ranking on which food is the best.
Well, I'll plan. I'll plan a day to like go up there, and then we can go to like, I don't know, get Filipino food, Cerritos or wherever.
Yeah, go to Eagle Rock.
And then for lunch, and then I don't know, watch a movie, and then for dinner we'll get some soul food or something.
I mean, not that I haven't had soul food, but
I know, but you haven't had it on video.
I know, but at the same time, I would like soul food curated. It's just not me looking at a menu like, what looks good? You know what I mean?
I'm just saying we gotta play up the the Carter and Lee aspect of this friendship.
So at some point, I'm gonna ask you, Mushu, you hungry?
We can invite Cal and have like mayonnaise sandwiches or something.
Oh gosh. I just figured out. My brother-in-law has toast with mayo.
Cal.
Toast with mayo, but that's not like the weirdest part. He dips it in coffee.
So okay, we went on this houseboating trip, and my friend, her dad is just sitting there at the table. He has a packet of Oscar Mayer's bologna and a jar of mayonnaise, and he's just going,
what?
grabbing the bologna, and he's more
doing
eating,
the nachos and cheese with it.
It was less eating bologna covered in mayonnaise and more eating mayonnaise with a bologna spoon.
Jesus.
If I were to like, the ratio was not what you would expect.
Oh,
and
so he did the bologna Tostitos scoops.
Yeah, exactly. He was getting it up in there, and I was just almost throwing up. It was just really gross.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys take that imagery and
Take that with a grain of salt. Actually, it would probably taste better if you had salt. No, it was gross.
Yeah.
It was gross.
Happy New Year's, guys. We'll see you on Friday next year, on the 3rd for our 200th episode. Hope you guys had a wonderful time. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. But that's it. On to the next one.
For Light and for Life.
We are all needing some we all need to replace our fuse.
Right. Let's let 2024 be like the Onyx Cinder and leave the bad parts.
Let's all
in 2024 and fly off into 2025.
Let's all hit the emergency hull demolition sequence.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys.
Peace out.